everybody. I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 73, part 2 of the R's. But before we get started, as always, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, hit that bell icon if you want notification of any future content.
Or you can follow us on social media by clicking the link below and picking which one you want. If not all of them.
Or all. I was going to say, or all.
So we have 11 games.
Yes.
Some were, some were great.
Yeah.
Some were awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll start with That is Razzle.
You make it sound horrible. It wasn't horrible.
No, if it was horrible, it was awful. But it said, it was a good game. It was a decent game, but not something for me.
Okay, so this is Razzle. The way Razzle plays, the idea with this one is it is a word game that you are trying to make 4-letter words, minimum.
I'll say more than just 4-letter words. That's just sounds wrong.
Minimum 4-letter words, yes. So out of 6 letters, you have to make at least a 4-letter word. How's that? Mm-hmm. There is a sand timer. This is used for challenges. If you decide to do a challenge during the game. At the start of the game, you basically roll this around. Hopefully you can hear me talk over that. And then everybody has to come up with a word out of the letters that are left. Yeah.
Out of that?
Out of that. They don't know. If this happens, and I don't think it even addressed this in the rules. If it did, I don't remember. We just did this and started over again with that particular.
That just helped everything there.
Well, there's wed, but wed is only 3 letters. Weed has 2 E's, not 2 A's.
Wade
is wade, to wade into, okay. You said Wade, and my first thought was a name. Never mind. Yes, Wade, W-A-D-E. There you go. That is how the game is played. Now, if my opponent wins, then it comes one space, well, actually in this case, it comes one space toward me. And then we do it again. Satan, S-A-T-E-N.
I don't know why she thought that real quick.
I just happened to say, well, it was almost spelled out. Anyway.
Satan is S-A-T-A-N.
Is it A-N?
Yes.
Oh, it is A-N.
Can't even understand that one.
Dent, D-E-N-T.
There you go.
There you go.
It's right there.
It literally is right there backwards. Okay, and then it would slide one space back toward him. And it keeps doing this back and forth depending on who gets the word. When it gets to one end, I get a point. That didn't actually happen during the game. I'm just saying.
It did once.
It did once. We ended the game 5-1. So I did not win this one. But it just keeps going back and forth like that until somebody has the predetermined number of points. Simple as that. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. That being said,
I was amazed I did so good at it.
I'm surprised I did so poorly at it. We were having trouble with it, and now, of course, this is rolling very smoothly. It was not rolling smoothly when we were trying to do it. I was not.
We were pushing down on it, and I don't think you need to push it down. You just barely have to touch it.
Yeah, well...
You were doing this number.
Maybe I was. I don't think I was, but I don't know. So anyway, we're going to let this one go. I think it is a very interesting speed word game. I feel like it would do really well in a classroom somewhere, maybe, but it's not something we're going to pull off the shelf very often.
Should be called noisy.
It is definitely noisy, yes. But anyway, we're going to let this one go. But that is Razzle, a very interesting speed version of a word game, yeah. Anyway, all right.
Next, we have one of the most politically incorrect games, which that is
Redneck Life.
Redneck Life, the game of the year.
It was Game of the Year
in 2006.
At TGIF Con. I've never heard of TGIF Con.
I don't know. If you know about TGIF Con, let us know.
I don't know if it's still around. So that was before our time with board gaming. Mm-hmm. So, all right.
Say before our time.
With board gaming.
Yes.
Anyway, here, you want the box? Take the box. Here is your board. The board, this is essentially a roll and move game. Mm-hmm. You're rolling 2 dice and you are moving to the space and doing what it says. There are certain spots where you have to stop and do something. So you have to stop and end your turn there. You don't
Whether you
continue.
have any more turn movement.
Space.
or
Right,
not.
right. So the game starts with you with rolling 2 dice to determine your name. And then at the first stop sign, you are getting your education, your career, and your vehicle. Let's stop there for a moment. So for example, and in this last game, we had Jedediah Jr.
That was
Justin. He had a 4th grade education and was a flea market attendant. Made $240 on paycheck, or on payday. That's not too bad. And then we had Mary Louise. I had a 7th grade education on this game.
Woohoo! You were a taxidermist.
I was a taxidermist making $300 every time I got paid. It was great. And Winona Faye,
That
ooh,
was
10th
Jackie.
grade. Yep, ice hockey referee, making $360. Your income was determined by your education level. So anyway,
You don't have mine. Wow.
well, it's yours is in here. It's just not right there.
It's right there, wasn't it?
Is that one yours? Johnny
Yeah,
Bob.
Johnny Bob.
Johnny Bob, 7th grade.
Yep. I was a
Taxidermist also. Yep. All right, so with this game, you are, as I said, you're rolling 2 dice, you're moving along, you're doing what it says. If I roll a 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I get caught with, hold on. I get caught with ciggies at school, made to share with everyone, pay $10. I don't know that any of us ever landed on that one.
Oh, I don't know. The games I played, I probably did.
Number 7, purchase a slingshot for school, pay $20. Anyway, you are going around the board, doing what it says, stopping where it says stop, and doing what that says, and then continuing along the path on your next turn. You get your education level, you get your profession, your job, and then you also get your vehicle. The vehicles come in here's your vehicles. You pick your vehicle, you pay for your vehicle. At this point, you haven't had a payday. You don't have any money to pay for a vehicle. So you have to take...
Well, there's a lot of stuff along before you
Well,
get there. You're going to have to pay
that's
because you
true.
start off with
That's
no
true.
money.
If you have to pay something and you have no cash because it is not yet payday, you take a check and scram, essentially a payday loan. On payday, you can pay some of these off. You are never going to pay them all off. If you're lucky, you might be able to pay them off at the end of the game. That has happened once. Jackie did it during our first game. But you take a check and scram for $100 to pay for anything that you need to pay for. Vehicles, when you get your vehicle, you have to buy a vehicle to hopefully accommodate your future youngins. And if something happens and you get more youngins, then your vehicle will accommodate you. You have to buy another vehicle. So for example, maybe I'm going to grab this stretch limo. It will cost me $400 out of pocket, but it holds 8 youngins. It's a stretch limo with a camper shell or a truck bed shell or something on the back end of it. I don't know. Anyway, throughout the game, you are also getting married. You are having children. You are purchasing a home. Hopefully that home stays in the family and you don't have to buy another home because that has happened too.
Yeah, because you could lose it in the divorce.
You could lose it in the divorce, yes.
And then you get remarried.
And then you get remarried. And that
And then
marriage comes with ready-made youngins.
Possibly comes with youngins.
Yep, almost
And you
always.
got to figure out whether you get to keep the house or lose the house.
Yep. All right, so the game progresses that way until somebody gets here to the day of reckoning. And then the end game is determined by who has the most teeth left at the end of the game. Like this person, who is this person? This was Winona Faye. She had 3 teeth left.
Yeah. Because at the day of reckoning too, if you don't have any check and strands left, you get a buy teeth back.
Yes, you can have.
But
You
if
can pay the dentist to repair your teeth.
But you lose a tooth for every check and
scram
strand you
still
had.
have.
And I had about half my teeth still there by the end of the game, but I lost so badly. I lost
You had like
all
none.
my teeth plus 1.
Yep.
Yep, because I scratched it all out and put a +1 at the bottom.
That's too funny.
No,
Anyway,
it wasn't. It was
right.
frustrating.
so the best part of this game, in my mind, was the attention to detail they put into some of these spaces. For example, you start here on the beer can. You roll two dice, which means the minimum move you can move is 2, right? The first space states that you are adopted by a wealthy family and start the game with $1 million. There's no way to
But
roll
you
a
can't
1.
get there.
There's no way to roll a 1. Here, where you have to stop, right? The very next space, again, the best you can do is roll a 2. The very next space says that you hit the Powerball and win $2 million. After every single stop is some huge windfall of money that you are never going to see.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was
And then
a
there's
cute
plenty of
attention
Go
to
Reckoning cards.
Oh,
Where you're going
yes.
to take Go Reckoning cards where they could give you surprise kids.
right
You could
here.
lose teeth. You could get money.
You could.
All kinds of
Let's
different
see.
stuff.
Here is a Go Reckoning. I can get these out here. Cut in a line at the tilt-a-whirl. Lose a tooth. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually on the card. This one you can save. Share the glory. If another player receives some cash, present this card to embezzle half of it. Payday and Day of Reckonings are exempt.
And I had 3 of those in the last game, and I still lost, and lost every bit of my teeth.
Donate Granny's body to the medical school. Collect $200.
That's just wrong.
That is wrong, yes. Anyway, it is, in this day and age, in my thought, completely
Not politically
not
correct.
politically correct. But if you go into it with the right frame of mind, it is so funny.
Yeah.
We laughed so hard at just some of the verbiage in this
Yeah.
thing. We had a good time with it. We played it 3 times in a week.
Well, I think you folded that board.
I don't, if you think,
Yes. I did.
maybe. I don't know. I thought that's how I pulled it out. Oh, yep, all right.
But yeah, you can go in this talking normal with no accent, but by the time you get done, you've got that southern twang redneck.
That is just you.
Jackie was doing it too.
Okay, so you and Jackie were doing it. I was not. Anyway, that is Redneck Life by Gutbustin' Games.
Politically incorrect, but it like I said, it's one of those. It's a big fun game.
It was hilarious. Anyway, we're going to hold on to it. It does sit in the travel collection. We're going to leave it there. So, all right, next.
Next, we have a kids game. Rhino Hero. This is a dexterity game
Yes.
of stacking cards.
Yes.
If you were ever good at building houses with cards when you were as a kid, you know,
This is your game.
this is your game.
All right. There's the base.
You have the base, you have a hero, you have walls, and you have roofs.
Everybody starts the game with 7 cards, 7 roof cards, which is these. The roof cards, some of them are just basic. They all give the outline, the footprint of what the next set of walls need to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them basic, they have no corner stuff. Some of them, the rest of them, have all these different symbols up in the corners that give the person who's playing it
The next
sometimes,
person.
yeah, it gives the next person something they have to do,
Yeah, like
potentially.
draw an extra card.
Like, yeah, like this
Move the
one,
hero.
where was it? This one you get to
You get to lay 2 roofs.
2 roofs down.
tiles.
So this
Yes.
one actually affects you.
Yes.
You get to, okay, so let's back up for a second. The way this plays, on your turn, you are folding these wall cards to match the outline on the roof that you're touching, the foundation you're doing. And then you're laying 1 card down for your roof card. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the card before it has something on it. What was the exclamation mark?
I don't know.
Get to go again, I bet.
We
Check
will
that one.
see.
Check
We
that one.
know
Okay.
most of them.
Yeah, I don't remember what the exclamation mark was. So,
Take a breather. The next player has to take a rest and lose a turn.
okay, so the next player loses a turn. So if I play that, Greg loses a turn. Well, a 2-player game, that means I get to go again. So I put my wall down, and I go again, and then it's his turn. And then he has to put his walls down, follow the pattern, and then he's going to lay. Now, mind you, you have 7 cards in your hand, and they're not laid out like this. He's going to play this guy. If you play the Rhino Hero one, the next player, when they place their walls, and we're going to turn this just a little bit so you can hopefully see this. The next player, which would be me, places their walls like so. That
'Cause
is
that's the
not
way the
going
card
to
shows.
stand up, because that is what that's what the foundation shows, or the card shows. And then I'm doing this blind because I can't see it. I'm putting Rhino Hero
On his spot.
right here on his spot. Hopefully not knocking things over. And then I am putting my roof down. Oop, wrong way. No, that's the
No,
right
that's
way.
the right way.
That's the right way. That has no foundation on it.
Because you're going to lay another one.
Because you lay, okay,
'Cause it's
so
the
that's
times
that
2.
one. That one, because yeah, this has a ×2 up in the corner, means I get to get rid of another.
And she loses.
I lose anyway. But I would normally get to get rid of another card out of my hand, and maybe I'm going to play Rhino Hero. So Greg now has to pull Rhino Hero from where I had put him and move him up to here, and that's how he lost the game when we actually played it.
Yeah.
It's a cute little game. It is definitely dexterity. You don't want to touch the table for fear of knocking it over. But it was a cute little kids game. I really actually enjoyed this one. But yeah, that is Rhino Hero. It is definitely going to stick around. I mean, why not, right?
Yep.
It's a good one. Yeah. All right.
Next we have Rampage. This was retitled as Terror in Maple City, and then I think it came back to Rampage or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know if it's even in print anymore. It's by Antoine Balza.
Yeah, I don't know. We picked this up at Half Price Books. Not Half Price Books, I'm sorry. Barnes & Noble for half price.
Long
years
ago.
and years and years ago. Like I said, this is the first printing, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so the way this one plays, I am not going to dig this board out because, number one, it's a puzzle piece board.
Yep.
That has foundations glued to it. And on those foundations, you are stacking all these meeples up
In buildings.
and building the roofs. So you've built, and I've got lots of videos and pictures of this, but essentially you are, let's not put him on his head, you are building all of the buildings like such.
Before the game.
Before
You're not
the
building
game.
this during
no.
the game.
This is all before the game. And then you're putting more up and you're continuing to do that how the rule book
And
says
the board
to do
actually
it.
has the bases in the area.
Yes, the foundations are all there. So during the game, everybody
Really?
has, what?
You're going to drop one, aren't you?
No, I'm not with pieces on the board because they will go flying. During the game, everybody has their dragon. You have your feet. This identifies where your dragon's actually standing in the city. And then you have his body. Now, the way you're going to do this is on your turn, you have a couple of options. One of the options is to flick your dragon so that it is up against one of the buildings. You're trying to get onto the sidewalk that is around the building, which is about 1/4 inch thick. Or you are trying to get into another district so that maybe you can eat some of the people that have fallen out of the buildings in that district. Or you are flicking a car off of the top of your head. You are picking up the car that's in your district, and you are flicking it with your finger to try to knock over a building or people or whatever. You can also stick your chin on top of this guy and blow to try to blow over a building. That's not always very successful for me.
No.
I don't know. But you have these big buildings and you have small buildings, and everybody has a certain number of teeth on the front of their dragon. You're keeping everything that you eat a secret because that's all points at the end of the game. You don't want people to see how much you're accumulating. But ultimately, the main thing you're doing during this game is knocking over buildings and eating the people and the floors that fall off of them.
Chowing down.
Chowing down,
I think is what
yes.
it says in the game.
So
about
you're
rules.
literally, you've got your building 4 or 5 high, whatever. You're holding your piece up and you're dropping it so that it hopefully, I'm not going to drop it because pieces will go everywhere. We did it in a video. I'll show a video. But you're dropping it and hopefully knocking stuff off so that people are exposed, because once people are exposed, you can pick them up and you can, well, he's still in the building. I can't eat him. But
No,
I
you
can
can't.
take
There's
that whole
nothing on
floor.
top of him.
Oh, that's true, because I knocked the roof off of him. You can pick up floors that don't have anybody on top of them. You can pick up people that are no longer covered. Now, I couldn't touch these guys because they were under the roof I just ate. Next round, I could eat them. Mm-hmm. That's the whole basis of the game. It's a cute, I mean, we've played it with my niece and nephew, and they adored it. They were teenagers at the time.
We played this with the boys when they were
We
younger.
did. We did. This got moved into the travel collection a long time ago, just because it just didn't come off our shelves very often. But it was I still enjoy the game. I didn't want to get rid of it. So we are still going to hold on to this one. It is a fun. It's a rowdy get up and move around the table because I need the best angle type of game. But yeah, that is Rampage, and we are going to hold on to it, aka Terror in Meeple City.
Whatever.
Whatever, yeah. It is staying. All right.
Yeah. So we've had rhinos and we've had rampaging, and now we have Rhino's Rampage.
I hate this box.
You don't have to open it up, do you?
Yeah, I do.
You have pictures of it, don't you?
Not good. No, not really. I don't think we did actually take any pictures of this one. All right, so this is the basis of the game. This guy snaps on here, which I'm not going to put all the way on because he's hard to get back off again, but he snaps on there because we still can't get the tail off. We never did get the tail off after we played. The basis with this game, everybody has 3. Oh, I thought, okay, it's only 3. I thought it was 4 for a minute. Everybody has 3 little guys that need to get across the boulders around the lake and onto the rhino's back.
Yep.
It's a whole game. You roll the dice to see if that happens. I roll a 4. I move 4 spaces. There is a way that maybe the next player rolls a 4 also. Now this guy can't move. He's got to wait for this guy to move. But there's also a spot on here where you can untrap yourself. So you can move. If you roll that, you can move to the next space, basically. But then there's also the rhino move, right? And I know you can't see these. They're very, very light on the dice. But when that happens, you flip the rhino's tail. If this were locked down, the rhino's head moves and his little leg comes up and stomps.
And then the stones pop up.
And the stones pop up. They're supposed to be knocking these guys off, potentially. We never had that happen. Only 2 safe spaces are here or when you get to the rhino's back. First player to get all 3 pieces to the rhino's back wins
without
the game.
falling off.
Without falling off, yes. I mean, it's a cute kid's game.
Yeah.
That being said, we could never quite get the mechanism to work.
So.
Yeah, well, we never could get the mechanism to work.
Well, look, they work really well there.
Yeah, but you can't get it to go down far enough. Wait a minute, let me see something. Here. See, that's what it's supposed to do. It never did that.
Yeah. There's something in there probably bent or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. Unfortunately, this one is going to leave the collection. See, this is why I can't get something in here. I can't get this guy off, but oh well. Come that way. There we go. Maybe. I'm going to get it in this way. Oh, hey, I actually got it in the box this time.
Not on the way.
Well, close enough. I'll fight with it later. Anyway, that is Rhino Rampage. It is leaving the collection. I don't think it's as challenging as I want
that collection
the kids' collection to be. It's a roll and move, and I mean, I get the fun behind it, but it's just not quite what we're looking for that collection. So we are going to let this one go. But yeah, Rhino Rampage.
Next we have a Tom Lehman game, Arcana. This is a Tableau resource management.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. All right. So the resources, I do love this about this game. The resource tray is great. Pop the lid off and you're ready to play.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Essence.
Essence. Okay. They're resources.
They're essence. They are called essence in this game.
Okay. All right. So
essence.
Oh, okay. So at the start of the game, everybody gets 10 cards.
Not those cards, you don't.
Not those cards, you don't. Okay, wrong cards. Everybody starts with a mage card.
Yes.
You start with 1 mage card. These are actually an expansion we have never played with.
Those are monuments. You play with the monuments.
Oh,
We've played with the
those
monuments.
are monuments.
Those are
Okay.
extra points that you're building for at the end of the game.
Yes. So there is a row of these out, or a couple of
They're
these
all
out
gold.
that you can build during the game to get extra points.
Yep.
And then there is these cards. These cards are the basis of your tableau. Everybody starts the game with 10 cards. And this is all you get during the game.
Yep.
Once you've dealt out the 10 cards per player, the rest of the cards go back in the box to never be seen again.
Until the next
During
time you
this
play
game,
it.
yeah. So you shuffle the cards up, and you draw 3, and that's how you start your game. Also out, you have your
mage down.
You have your
so
mage
you got
down.
something out.
You have your mage down. You have a selection of monuments you can choose from, and you also have a selection of, what are these called? These
Places of power.
Places of power. You have a selection, depending on player count, of these places of power out that give victory points at the end of the game. The goal is to get to 10 victory points. That's the whole goal of the game.
Yep.
First person to 10 wins the game. Well, triggers the end of the game, and then you finish the round.
Yes. At the beginning of the round.
At the start of the round.
Yep. You take a.
There's a whole bunch. There's
magic
10
item.
of these out. You choose which one you want. These give different things. Some will give straight up resources. Some will give special abilities you can do during that round.
Yep.
At the end of the round, when you've decided you've done all you can do, you pass. You put this one up there. You draw another card. Let me rephrase that. You choose a new magic item, and you draw one card from your hand or from your deck into your hand.
Yep.
And then you wait for everybody else to finish their round.
Which usually isn't much
It's
after.
not. Yeah,
it's
it's
not
usually
long wait,
not long.
if anything.
You're right. So during your game, you're going to have a number of resources you start the game with. I think everybody starts with one. Essence, a number of pieces of essence. Everybody starts with one of each. You are trying to get some of these cards built so that you can use them. Once they are in your tableau, the ability it has becomes available to you to use once per round, unless you have a way of untapping it to make it available again.
Yes, there are artifacts.
There are artifacts that will do that, yes. Each of these will give you a way to convert essence or to get essence or to do other things.
Right.
That's essentially the game.
Yeah, there is
You're
attacking
playing
in
cards.
here because you have dragons
Yes,
that
there
can
is some
attack,
attacking.
It'll take life if you don't have life is the green essence. If you don't have the green essence, you have to lose 2 of
Something else.
something else up to however many.
Yeah. So we played this at the retreat, 4-player, and that's why we bought it. We really enjoyed it. We've played it 2-player a couple more times.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it at 4-player.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just because it was the first play and it was still brand new.
Yeah.
I don't honestly... The games have been very hot or cold. Let's put it that way. If you don't get a decent, I don't even mean good, if you don't at least get a decent hand of 10 cards, you've got no shot at winning this game. Mm-hmm. Literally, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is some strategy in how you play them out and exactly what you're doing with the essence you have.
Right.
But if you don't get at least a decent hand of 10 cards to pick from, that you are drawing up to every round, you've got no shot. And then maybe your opponent got a great hand and has got resources galore while you're struggling for them. That is my only complaint with the game, is there's no mitigation to that first hand of cards you were given. It's the only thing I don't like. Other than that, I think it's a great game. I think it's an interesting game, but I just don't like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, there is a thing for the first game you play. There is a set of 3 cards that you could give the people to start. Those are your first 3 cards you get. But that's the only thing
that's the
like
only
that.
real helper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this one, whether we're going to keep it or not.
I think we're keeping it on a short leash in our collection.
Yeah.
We're going to try and play it again at 4.
Yeah, we want to play with more players and see if it holds
and maybe play
true.
it. I don't know if we've played the expansions yet.
I don't
Maybe
know if
we
we
need
have.
to play the expansions. Maybe it'll help. I know
don't
there's
know.
a lot of people that love this game.
There's a lot of people that don't, because
Yes.
it's probably the same reasons problem I have with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's right now, as you said, we're going to hold on to it, but it's a short leash. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that is Res Arcana.
Yep.
I think there's potential there. I do like the card play. I like what it does. I just don't like the fact there's no mitigation for that first hand, for those 10 cards that you're given at the start of the game.
Maybe the expansion helps it. We'll find out.
Maybe. Anyway, that's that.
Next is one of your favorite
My
abstract
favorites,
games.
yes.
This is Reef. I almost said Reef Project.
You
but
did.
This is Reef.
Reef. We picked this one up several years ago at Gen Con.
2018.
Yep.
When it came out.
All right, so the way this one plays, everybody has their coral reef. You start the game with a couple cards in your hand.
Yep.
And then there are cards laid out on the table, like so. Everybody starts with one of each piece of coral reef set out on their board. On your turn, you have two choices. You can either pick up a card out of the display. You pick up one card from the display or from the top of the deck and add it to your hand. And there is a hand limit, as I recall, but
You start with cards in your hand.
you start with some. You do start with some. Or, alternatively, so say I've got a couple cards here. Let me see if I've got anything that will work. Each card does one of two things. You can either play it to gain the resources. So in this case, I would gain 2 yellow pieces of coral. I immediately put those on my board. So I would put them here and here. I could put them on the here. I can build up to 4 high. So if I was already like, maybe this is where I was sitting, and I grabbed 2 yellow pieces, I could do this again. You can go up to 4. Then maybe the next turn, my next turn,
Instead of drawing a card,
instead
you
of
want to play a card.
So well, okay, so I played this card. I would now discard this card. And then maybe my next turn, I'm going to play this card because I'm going to play it for the bottom. And I no longer have that open.
Nope.
This would have to be like this. Okay, let's flip that. There we go. Now it's open.
Actually, if you did this, you could play it a few times.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you have 2 choices on the cards. You do them you gain the resources on the top and put them into your coral reef, or you play them for the bottom in order to score them. This one would score me 2 points because I have 2 stacks of 2, any color. So I could have this out there, and that would still qualify. I have 2 sets of 2. 2 sets of 2 and another 2 sets of 2. Each stack can be scored 1 time on this. So I couldn't go this way and then this way. This would not qualify because they're diagonal. They have to be next to each other, like so. But I would score those points. And when I score those points, I just grab the point tokens, and I put them in my supply, my personal supply. I could also score this one if I wanted to because I had this. It doesn't give me a height. So anywhere where I have 3 yellows in this pattern, I could just do this. So maybe I had it like this. That would also score. Maybe it looked like that. That would also score because I have 3 yellows in that pattern. So you're looking at the cards to get the resources you need in order to make other cards viable for scoring. That's essentially the whole game.
Yep.
It is a really thinky puzzle, though, to figure out how to do it, how to make some cards score without screwing up other cards in the process. Or if somebody takes the card you were thinking about, you're working on getting this one ready to score, but you haven't had a chance to grab it yet, and then somebody takes it. I don't know, I've always enjoyed this one. There is a fish, there's a fish one that comes, and the fish sit up on top of it. They sit on top and you score extra if those happen to be in your scoring pattern. Yep. Yeah, I've always liked this one. It's a good one. All right, there you go. But that is Reef by Emerson Masucci. Masucci.
You know who Emerson Masucci is, right?
I know the name. I don't know what he's done. Why?
We have a really big, overly produced game up there by him.
Which one?
The Rome one. I can't remember the name of it now.
Foundations of Rome.
Foundations of Rome.
Like I said, yeah. Anyway, that is Reef. We are going to hold on to it. Great abstract game. But yeah. All right.
Next, we have a novel game, meaning it's
based on a novel
of a novel I haven't read, nor have you.
No. And I feel like if I had, based on the novel by Pierce Brown.
If we had read this novel, it probably would mean a little more.
It would have made more sense from the start.
Yes.
It's still not a bad game, though.
No.
I still enjoy the game.
It's
All right. So, how this one plays. Here is your board. Everybody starts out, and everybody has player pieces that are used in various locations on the board, but I'm not going to go into that because the heart of the game is the card at play. Everybody starts the game with 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then throughout the game, other cards will have been played down. We'll just do some other cards here. Whatever. Okay. So you start the game with 7 cards. The goal of this game is to cultivate your hand to gain points at the end of the game.
Yep.
That's the basis of what you're doing. Now, how you're doing it is the other matter. Okay. So on your turn, you have 2 options. You can play a card out of your hand, and I'm not even looking at what I have here, into any of the 4 locations on the board. You play a card, you do what that card says, what the deploy action of that card is. And then you pick up a card from someplace else on the board. So maybe I want this guy, and he goes into my hand. And then I do the bonus action of where I just picked him up from. So I get the bonus action of the Institute. And off the top of my head, I cannot remember what any of them are, but I would get to do that. Or if I like my hand, I don't want to change anything with my hand. Nothing out here is going to help my hand. Mm-hmm. I just pick up a card blind off the top of the stack and put it into any section. Doesn't matter where. I don't get the bonus for deploying it because I didn't deploy it. I just placed it blind. And then there's a die. I roll the die to see which of these areas, because I'm not picking up a card. My hand can't change. It still has to stay at 7. Mm-hmm. So I don't get to remove a card. So I roll the die to see which of the bonus areas I get to do. I get to activate.
Right.
I don't remember what the end game trigger is, but when the game end triggers, everybody scores up their hand. And oops,
I will find it for you.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember. We played this one several months back. We haven't played it super recently.
The end of the game is triggered when all 3 of these conditions are met.
Oh.
A player has 7 helium, a player has 7 influence, and a player reaches or surpasses the 7 on the fleet track.
So you are basically going up the fleet track here. Different things will let you collect helium, which
those are the helium.
Which come in basically red crystals that come in a lot of games.
And this is the
and then
influence.
Yes, and I know the Institute lets you put influence up here.
Yes.
I remember that. I believe the Jupiter lets you go up the fleet track.
Yep.
Luna, you take this token, which I think is the first player token, but I could be wrong. And Mars, if I'm not mistaken, is what lets you take helium. So those are the bonus actions you're taking. So that's why, with those 3 things being the game end triggers, that's why you might choose a certain card. You may give up the card you want in order to get the bonus you need. So it's an interesting game. I like the card play in it. I like what it does. I feel like it would make more sense if I knew the books.
If we knew the book, yeah.
Which unfortunately we do not. But it currently sits in the travel collection.
Because at the time we needed the room.
We needed the space, yes. And we don't play it very often because we don't know the books.
Yeah.
We have a friend who this is one of his favorite games because he does know the books and he loves them. Uh-huh. And the last time we played it with him, and I'm not mistaken, he beat us pretty handedly.
No, Jeff won.
Jeff won that one?
Jeff won.
Oh, yeah, by 203.
Connor came in almost dead. You came in last. Connor came in second to last. I came in second, and Jeff won.
Okay. Anyway, that is Red Rising. It is an interesting card game. It does sit in the travel collection, as I said, and it will stay there for now. Yeah. All right.
Next we have another novel book game. This is Brandon Sanderson's The Reckoners. And there goes all the dice.
Yeah. Okay. The Reckoners is this is one of my favorite cooperatives. Mm-hmm. Absolutely one of my favorites. And I don't remember where it fell. We've done a top 10 on cooperatives, and that was so long ago I don't remember. But when I think of cooperatives, this is one of the first ones I think of. Outside of, pandemic, of course.
Yes.
You want that over there?
Yeah, we put it over here.
Okay. So, this is a very big and grandiose game. It takes up a lot of space. But what I wanted to show you, there is no actual board. The board is actually made up of game trays. You have the tray that tracks the health of the city as well as your group's gold that is used
basically
to buy.
our base.
Yeah, it's our base and where our gold is kept and how we track the health of the city.
Right.
Because this is a losing condition.
And our market.
If you kill off the whole city, then the game is over and you have lost. Or if you let Steelheart kill off the whole city. You have Steelheart's health and what he does and his powers and where you have to work to keep him contained from killing off the rest of the city. You have all of the city locations. Now the base game takes place mostly in Chicago, or all in Chicago.
Well,
the expansion,
Chicago is
New
what it's called.
Chicago. Anyway, with this one, you have epics up here, and the epics, if I can get them out, the epics just slide up here, and there's a piece that comes over to show you how powerful the epic is, and this is the way you can keep to contain them. It shows you what their health is, and you track all that here. And then you have your individual player boards. Each player has their board that holds the dice they've used as they have used them, as well as when they are rolling them. Each player has a special ability of some sort. You get your player card that has a special ability on it. So it makes it a little asymmetric, but they're not huge.
Yes.
Each player gets their dice based on their character. So for instance, this red character, Megan, would get 3 red dice.
My.
Oh yeah, they get all messed up every time you turn the box up, right? They don't lock in very well. Megan would get 3 red dice and 3 white dice. Now this game is made up of some of the most beautiful dice I've ever seen in a game. But what makes this just slightly asymmetric is that each of the colored die are just a little bit different. Each color gives you one roll that is slightly better than any other roll, than any other dice does. The white dice are all the same. They all have the exact same powers on them. There are 6 different powers on here. You have ways of harming the epics if you can. Sometimes you have to research the epic first before you can harm them. There are ways to get extra turns that you can save for next turn. You can take out some of the enforcers. There's little red enforcers that cause problems. So you can take them out with this symbol. You can get money to help buy your group equipment. Or you can contain the epics or steal to keep them from getting too powerful. Those are the 6 basic actions. The red die, the Megan, is better at taking out the enforcers. Some of her dice do that. The blue one has extra containment. He's really good at keeping the epics a little bit weaker. The black one gets extra actions. So his dice rolls doubles of these that he can hold on to for future turns. The purple does extra research. The orange gets extra money, and that's always good. And the green can do extra damage to the epics. Yeah. So they all do something just a little bit better than everybody else. So throughout the game, you are rolling your dice, kind of Yahtzee style. You have to keep at least 1, but you can roll up to 3 times. And then you are saving your dice, and then once everybody has rolled their dice, and you're talking, it's cooperative. You can talk amongst everybody. Each person chooses their location at the beginning of the game. You can use dice to move around. Rather than using their symbols, you can use them to move around. You might have to use them to take out roadblocks so you can move around, because some of the epics will put up roadblocks so that you can't leave or get into the territory. Yeah, Steelheart throws them up too, where he was. So you are talking to your fellow reckoners, trying to determine who's doing what to make the most efficient use out of all of the dice you've rolled. We actually have a gameplay of this when we played with the expansion and lost. We got our butts handed to us.
We played the hardest one at medium, I believe.
Yeah, it was not good.
Oh, they all went in thinking, oh, this is easy. This is easy. We just took out like 5 of them. And I was like, yeah, now we got to replace them all, and then they get attacked.
Oh, yeah, they all come with backups. It is a fun game. I have always really enjoyed this. I love the pieces. We ended up with the deluxe version, so all of the pieces are metal, and the minis are all painted. That goes there, yep. I've always loved it. If you ever, I don't even know if this is still in print, but if you ever have a chance to play this one, please do. You, like I said, you can check out our playthrough if you're curious about it. I think that playthrough went very well. We just didn't win. The first round was really good, and then it went straight downhill.
Until the Epics and Steelheart got to go, they were like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah, it was funny. So anyway, that is Brandon Sanderson's The Reckoners by Brett Sobel and Seth Van Orden. Yeah, Maverick Games. Fantastic cooperative game. dice chucking. So you've got that pressure luck with the dice, the Yahtzee style dice rolling, and yeah, I love it. This is a good one. But anyway, that is the Reckoners. Okay, we'll slide that right there. I need it stained, by the way.
Next, we have a heavy box.
That box is really heavy.
Now, this is only the base game, and the box is heavy.
Yeah.
This is the Revive. We played this at
the
retreat in 2022. 2023 with Root Shirt Guy.
Yep. We did, and then we bought it a short time later.
Yep.
And it sat on our shelf for over a year until we broke it out to play for this video.
Yep.
All right, so let me dig down here.
Oh, jeez.
I know you hate it when I do this. I'm so sorry.
There's so much to come out of this game, and she didn't dig it all out.
I am. See,
even though she has a lot of pictures of this game.
Look at all these pieces, all these glorious
These don't come
pieces.
with the game, by the way.
No, they should know that by now. Here is your board. There's your board. Beautiful board. So the game starts with your starter tiles uncovered, and then the rest of these are all covered.
Snow covered.
All they show is the back of the tiles, but that doesn't show a back. This one shows a back. Like this one, you get one card and a couple of points if you survey this area and flip it over.
Right.
But you pay 3 resources to do it. The board is covered in these, so you're moving around, you're flipping them over, and you're trying to put your people out and claiming areas. Depending on where you are, you can activate your people. You put your person down, you can activate them, and you get to do everything that triggers around it. This one, you get to move up a couple of different tracks. Those tracks are on your player board, which is right here. And turn it over. Your player board, you've got these different tracks you can move up, and as you are moving up them, you're getting different benefits. Or you're filling in things that, oh my gosh, you pass up and activate these areas, you can draft tokens to put in there for extra powers. The player board itself, you're going up this track and getting energy. The energy allows you to activate things in the center of the board once you've got them opened up. You've got your resource tracks over here. And then you've got these areas here. You can take that one back. You've got these resource areas up here that, where is it? There's the back right there. You get to specialize the bonuses you get when you play cards in that area. So there are these tokens that, again, you can draft when you have cards that let you do so. And you can slide them into different areas on your board. So say, well, it might not be the best way to do that. Actually, I'd probably do something like that. And then each player starts with a series of cards, but you're drafting more as you go. Here they are. So you're drafting more cards as you go through the game so that your hand, what's available to you, becomes better. But as you're playing cards down, each of the cards have 2 bonuses on them. They have the bonus on the top that if you play up here at the top of your player board, you get. Or they have bonuses on the bottom where if you play down here, you get. So if you play the card where you have these bonus tokens at, so say maybe I had done this, and this is a white card, I would not only get these 2 actions, I would get a book and 1 gear down here in my resources, I would get 2 more gears. Or maybe I played this one. I would get the book and the crystal, but I would also get 2 more books down here in my resources as well. So this is the main way you're building resources.
Yeah, that's how you're getting the resources to be able to do the
actions out here. So there is a lot going on because you've got these 3 tracks you're trying to get built up. You're trying to get up this track to get not only energy to activate these, but to get points. Victory points are here, and you're getting bonuses as you go. You're basically trying to do everything you can, and eventually you have to pass. And when you pass, you move up this track and you get bonuses here. Ultimately, the game ends when all of these pieces, there's some pieces that come out here. They're alien heads. I don't remember what they are.
Dragon eggs, something like that. Artifact tiles.
The artifact tiles. Okay, that makes sense. So at the beginning of the game, depending on player count, you are seeing this section of the board with these artifact tiles. And then certain instances, certain
Like over here,
yep.
you would get an artifact tile.
when certain things happen in the game, you pass certain points of the board. You get artifact tiles. You can get an artifact tile over here. No, you have to
would
pay
have
an
to,
artifact
no,
tile.
you have to. You take an artifact tile away,
right.
and then you get an energy.
That's right. Okay. So the game ends when all of the artifact tiles are gone. There are other things out there that will give you artifact tiles because you can also do that on your player board. There's a couple places that give you artifact tiles. The artifact tiles help you with your personal goals.
Yes.
Because
Help you
there's
score
3
it at the
different
end.
colors, and everybody gets a card showing what different colors trigger, what colors you need to trigger that scoring.
Yep.
And it basically helps multiply the scoring bonuses.
Yep.
There's a lot going on in this one. When we played it at the retreat, I wasn't sure if I was going to, I liked it.
It was,
It
we were
was-
still not 100% sure we were playing it right.
Right.
Still kind of figuring out the rules.
Yeah. It was hard to figure out at first. But we went ahead and grabbed it because I enjoyed it enough to know that it needed more play, for sure.
Yeah.
And I still feel it needs more play.
And this has an expansion that I wouldn't mind getting,
Yeah.
but we want to play it a little bit more.
Yeah.
This is also one you want to do a gameplay through, though.
I would not mind doing a game playthrough of this one, yes. So if this is something you would like to see a game playthrough of, please let us know. Because that might help us decide what's the next one to be done.
So what was this? This was for the
Those
advance?
there is a, I want to
this
say
is
it's like
a
a
campaign.
legacy.
There's a
yeah.
campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't played yet.
No,
so.
I want to play the base game a few more times before we play the campaign
Yep.
version. But anyway, that is Revive, a game that definitely is not wanting to close. A game that definitely has a lot going on. I think it needs a lot more exploration on this one. I mean, I thought I put the box on backwards, so I did not want to have to open it back up again. But I didn't. It's on right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is Revive, and we are going to hold on to it. It is a very, very meaty game.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, love it. Okay.
And we're going to end
Last but not least,
with a Reef Project. I forgot David Turtsey was a designer on this.
was
He's
it?
on the solo
I didn't
play.
know that. Oh, okay, that's right. He did
He's
the
part
solo
of the
play.
solo play.
So Reef Project, this is one we picked up at Gen Con after playing it during the launch party.
Yeah, because you had no idea about this
Nope.
game.
You kept saying Reef Project, and my brain kept going to Reef.
I explained to you what it was you're cleaning
know.
up the reef. I said, it sounds kind
did.
of cool. You like the game Spilled. That's why I purchased the tickets to go to
Okay.
the release party of this.
Okay, well, for some reason, you kept talking about it, and my brain just kept going to Reef.
Yeah, because when I was looking
Yes.
for events for Gen Con, I was looking for really cool,
Unusual, yeah.
something we'd never heard about.
Yeah,
So I picked this one, and
it was a good
it's
one.
become
It's
one
a
of
good
your
one,
favorite
yeah.
games.
We played it during the release party. Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
It'll be interesting to see where it comes out in the top 100 this year.
Yes, yeah, agreed. Or our top 2024 games.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to get down to the board because the board is double-sided. And despite all the plays we've had of this, because
We've never played this four players.
Yeah, we've played a 4-player all
Or
the time.
2-player, I'm
We've never
sorry.
played a
Never played
2-player.
2-player or solo.
Well, no, we probably never will play it solo. Okay, so this board is double-sided. This is the 1 to 2 player side. It is a little bit smaller. The 3 to 4 player side, if I can get it flipped over here, is a little bit bigger. It gives more spots for islands. At the beginning of the game, you're seeding the board with lots of different islands. So there's all these different colored spots indicate the color island that can go there. The islands are never going to be in the same position twice because they're all randomized. You take certain islands out depending on player count. In a 3-player game, you're cutting off some of the corners so that it narrows it down by a couple more islands. This one, again, like some of the others, have a lot of tracks. Like I said, you start the game by seeding out your board. And then everything on here is all symbology. Everybody has their shipboard, and each shipboard has an insert in it that changes out the bonuses you're going to get as you get crew members. It changes out your ship's bonus, your captain's bonus, and then it changes out what resources you get to start with. So, and how many resources you start with, of what type. Everybody starts with the same 5 resources.
Yes.
It's just a matter of what type you start with. everybody starts at the main island here, and you're moving your ship around based on how much energy you have and what you want to do. Because, like I said, each of these spots have different islands on them that move around. As you're moving, like from here to here, it's going to cost me 2 energy. But once I've paid that 2 energy, so yep. So you've got an energy tracker here. This tracks all of the energy you have on your ship. So I would pay my 2 energy, I'd move this track down by 2, and then I do not have to, but I could place a reef ball out that covers one of those pieces of energy. And then the next player who goes through there only has to pay 1 because there's only 1 visible. They again have the option of putting a reef ball down, and then this route becomes free for everybody else because the reef balls have already been put down. So you don't have to pay any more energy through there. However, if nobody puts a reef ball here, regardless, the blue player can move between these 2 islands for free because they've already placed a reef ball down. So you're moving around from island to island, doing the actions of that island. There's also some card plays that change up the actions, that make them better or take away the action of the island but give you something even better. So there's a set collection with the card aspect of it.
Of the different types of corals.
The different types of coral, There are different icons that have you moving up the diver track, and the diver track will give you different things as you move up it with their oxygen tanks. There's the fish track, the reef itself will give you different things.
There's a science track.
There's the science track. There's a whole separate board.
That gets put together.
Yep, there's a puzzle piece. This board here has the science track, which again is victory points at the end of the game, but it's also how ties are broken. Whoever's furthest ahead on the science track automatically breaks all ties.
It also tells you where you can pull cards from.
Yes, so the cards are all up here. If I'm only at level 3 on my science track, I only get to choose from these first 3 cards. I don't have any access to these last few. The crew members are down here. You can buy crew members to add to your ship, and those give you extra abilities when you get to activate them. Several of the islands will let you activate crew members. All in all, through all of this, the whole goal of the game is to clean up the reefs. There are trash tokens floating around in the center of all of these islands, in between the islands. And as areas are filled up with reef balls, you can collect the trash token. Whoever has area majority in this vicinity. This is another reason you want to put reef balls down, because that is what gives you your area majority. So, is that
I was
way
trying
you
to
can
find
the
a
trash?
tile token, the reefs,
the
the actual,
planets?
what the actual
Or
reefs
the
look like.
planets, they are right here.
Here they are.
And then there's our trash tokens. But as whoever has area majority here would get the trash token in the middle.
Yeah,
So that is, that's a green one.
Yeah,
so it would go into one of the green slots.
And it tells you what you can do.
Yep. And then the trash tokens give you bonuses if you use them in game, or victory points if you use them at the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, but it all tends to mesh together well.
Yeah.
In my thought.
There's
in my mind.
what is it? Revive. When you don't have any energy to do anything, and it is what it's called.
It's not Revive. Revive was the last game. It is. Maybe it is Revive. I don't think it is. But that's one action you have. If you are out of energy and there's nothing you can do, because as the game goes on, you're going to build up travel routes where you don't need energy anymore. You don't need energy to get from island to island. But in the beginning of the game, you do. It is
Recharge.
Recharge, thank you. You can recharge, which makes much more sense. You recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
And that gives you some energy. You basically get to the recharge action. You look at where you are on the victory point track, and you do every one of these little captain symbols. You do each of these actions prior to it.
And they're all the way.
And some of them can be pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful action once you've started collecting some victory points. Yeah. I love this game. We picked it up after learning it.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. We picked it up after learning it, and we took it to the Dice Tower retreat with us because we knew it was brand new, and I didn't think it was in the library, and
Nope,
it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It is now, but it
Tom
wasn't
didn't
at the
even
time.
realize it had been released yet.
And I think I taught it 6 times during that week to lots of people, and everybody seemed to really, really enjoy it, and I'm glad. But that is Reef Project by Board and Dice. Forgot one. Slide that right back in there. Okay, try that again. But that is Reef Project by Board and Dice. One of my favorites.
And a third time.
But that is Reef Project by Board and Dice. It is definitely going to stick around. It is, like I said, one of my favorites of this year.
This will be interesting to see where it comes out on either one of our top 100s this year. In top 24. Our top 10 of 2024.
This is another one I would love to eventually. We literally came home from the retreat saying we're going to get a 2-player playthrough video up of this.
We haven't yet.
Still haven't yet. Haven't even played it 2-player yet. Every time it comes off, we're training. We're training people. We're teaching people how to play it. So we're never a 2-player. So this is another one. If you want to see us do a playthrough of it, please let us know in the comments.
Or any of these games, or any games you've seen us do.
Yeah.
As long as we still have the game.
We'll do it. Yeah.
We'll do it.
I'm looking for new video ideas. So anyway, that is it for this video. Part 2 is done. So now we're on to part 3.
We're going to take a risk on that one. But until then, we'll see you at the next one.